Now there was, now there wasn't. There was, once upon a time, a quick-witted, loud-whistled, green-grey little bird who could have fit right into your palm had you stretched out your hand to him. This little bird did not sit in people's hands, though, nor did he live alone. He was one of many quick-witted, loud-whistled, green-grey birds that lived together in a nest so large you could not have wrapped your arms around it. This nest had hundreds of little holes, a green-grey pair in each, and it was built in a tree that had been planted just a few years ago in the green-blue garden of a monastery. And in this monastery there lived a very good monk who tended to all he loved with great care and compassion. He loved books, and so he never broke their spines. He loved plants, and so he never overwatered them. But above all, he loved all creatures, great and small, for all their squeals and songs and stutters together sounded to him like a symphony written by none other than the god he worshipped. The animals in his country were plain, green, grey, brown, blacks and mauve. Their beauty was not in looks, but in their voices. Each animal had its own place in the green-blue concert hall. Now, unlike the books and plants, the animals the monk held so dear could scuttle, burrow, preen and hunt, and so took care of themselves. In time, however, the monk grew worried for the scuttlers, burrowers, preeners and hunters that used to take care of themselves. He heard, when he listened closely, more and more voices out of tune, or softening, or disappearing altogether, and when he asked the quick-witted, loud-whistled, green-grey little bird why this was so, the bird warbled back, "Do you not know what goes on outside your garden? Your people build their brick-and-mortar houses on our green and growing ones. They take but do not give, and they so love their own loud and grinding voices that they shout ever louder until it's all anyone can hear." And so, for many years, the monk devoted his head and hands wholeheartedly to the plain scuttlers, burrowers, preeners and hunters. He spoke their whispered worries to his people with his loud and grinding voice. His books grew dusty and forgotten, his plants dried up in windowsills. He carved out places in the land just for the animals and not for people, and slowly, surely, the symphony swelled once more. But one day, as the monk was walking, softly talking to himself and to any creature that he passed, a flash of red, so red, slit through the endless shades of green, and then a note so sweet, so strange, so new. The blood-red bird flit off. The monk wept, wiped, and ran to miss the bird not for a second, and wished passionately to lure it home, to look at its bright red plumes in candlelight, to dab his green-grey quill in ink, to nail down the notes of its divine, bewitching, intoxicating, enchanting song onto paper for eternity. The bright red bird landed on a wispy branch. The monk, now desperate, tried to climb to reach his hand out to the bird, but his habit caught on bark and his hands, tired from years of writing down the green, grey, brown, black whispered warbles, would not comply. The monk wept, and then a song, so sweet, so strange, so new. The monk sighed and drank in the song, which left him rooted to the spot. The unusual trills and dips and the unexpected twists and turns that poured out of that cardinal crimson beak filled the monk with happiness and sadness, both at once. The monk had never seen so bright a creature. Why did his god colour its creatures with dull grey greens, brown blacks, when it had the ink, the colour of sunsets after rain? Why did it jealously guard its richest, most delicious colour? Why bother with little tails when long feathers can trickle down like honey? And just as suddenly as the red had slit into the green, the bird flit into the sky. The monk turned, wrapped his tattered habit around himself, and set off for home. Leaves and pebbles crunched underneath his feet, and the sound, usually but a minor beat in the green-grey-brown symphony, filled the monk's ears. The monk stopped, and so did the sound. Nothing. Empty silence roared around the monk and his old and tattered habit. The only music now was within. His heart rattled rudely and desperately in his chest. When the monk arrived home, he looked up and saw the small, silent, whistled, green, much greyer little bird peeping out of the empty nest. The rattling quickened as the monk asked, "Where is your family, little bird?" The bird piped, "They are gone, as you have been, friend. Your footsteps are the first sound I have heard in years, and I marvel that they have not changed. Where did you go? Why did you leave?" The monk replied, "Ramble not. Just warble as you used to, the truth, in sweet and succinct notes. I've been away an hour. There was a bird singing." "No, you have been away far longer, friend. There are no birds but me. They went long ago and exist no more. It is quiet now. You left us, forgot us, entranced. Seduced by the novel and the bright, you listened to the red bird song for weeks, months, years, then decades. You forgot food, sleep, drink, and time. Our voices dried up to whispers, and no one spoke for us. Our homes, they were splintered for fire. Now they are gone. We shivered, we murmured, but no one looked up. We do not blame you. We do not. But there aren't many left in that we. It is quiet now. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a cat. Now, do not presume to know what that cat knows and what it thinks. It will never deign to tell you. Let's just ask him now. Oh, you want to know what I dream of when I nap? What I think of when I purr and dig my claws contentedly into your thigh? How I feel when you catch me staring at the little green-grey birds outside? You will know it never. But I am generous, so I will let you come with me now. I dislike water, quick and malleable, because I envy it. I am jealous of silk and of honey for their vapidly languorous, rich laziness. Do they, in turn, whisper longingly of my tail flicking velvetly when I stare, my green-eyed stares? Do they softly sigh as I drip my limbs over leather Chesterfields? A thick, heavy, late summer bee hums late afternoon hymns to the outside, which he cannot find. I do not blink. I blink. My fur is toasting, golden in the sun. I savour my supremacy over this small kingdom and my jealous subjects, and I am slow, until I softly whip the bee mid-hum. Do you envy me, bee? I stretch and stretch further still, for I am lithe and lean, and I yawn. It is time. There is one subject yet who is not wholly mine. She has what I want, and she guards it from me. One tail flick for balance, and I am down. Pat, 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 pat. My toes tipple on the floor. A gentle push, a silky slide, and I am past the door and into the grass. Follow me, if you can, if you dare. Shh, stop, and do it now. The wood always creaks, groans, and complains under your kind's bumbling, lumbering feet. All may yet go wrong. Silence, quiet. Just watch me prowl, watch me hunt. I am here, I am not muscles. Tight claws are taut, time is mine. Stretch this beat into ages and cut that bird's lifetime short. Now quick, slide past the door and into the study. I drop the bird with a thud. Come, come, master, come, I cry. The wood of the staircase creaks, groans, and complains as my subject to be bumbles and lumbers down into my trap. I slip into the shadows as she enters the room. Oh, no, cat, a dead-mind parakeet, I don't want it, she roars, rather rudely. I listen intently. Come, come, unlock the door to the kitchen. Click. Raging, she totters into the kitchen. How, I still wondered, your people walk on 2 legs and out again, carrying a tattered old towel to wrap my gift in. She crouches down, distracted. I do not dither. I slither into the kitchen. One tail flick for style, and I am up on the counter where it has been waiting for me. My subject's fresh cream. Beyond 7 mountains and beyond 7 forests, there was, once upon a time, a writer whose deepest, most desperate fear was time, and her deepest, most desperate desire was to stop its ticking ever forward in its straight tracks. Time felt like water, happiness like silver darting fish, and the net she wove with words had holes too large to wrest them from the current. She wanted her writing to be like butter, soft, solid, sink your mind into it butter, that melts when heated so that it splutters, snaps, crackles with inside-out insights. But our writer is an academic, and her writing is reined into an outline, words trotting, hindquarters engaged neatly on the bit. Word counts respected and formatting adhered to, abstract, introduction, methods, results, discussion, conclusion. The way it was actually done, of course, was old results, methods, result, discussion, method, results, conclusion, discussion, methods, discussion, introduction, abstract. No matter. Stick to the well-trod, straight and narrow. No travelling without tracks to follow. Is that true? Let's ask life. She's kind of coy, communicates with only 4 letters, A, T, C and G. Phylogenies, or trees of life, are the tracks left by the travels of living things through time. But were those tracks predictable when the seed of the tree was planted 4 billion years ago? Did they blindly toe the straight lines laid out for them by invisible hands, the long, cold, spindly fingers of physics, the uncaring stranglehold of chemistry, or maybe the rules handed down to us all by, God forbid, a god? Our writer had no time for hearing what you think about all that, because she had a paper to write, one that would make her whole career. The writer paced up and down, wood creaking underneath her ice-cold feet. The words wouldn't come. They had dried up. There was a desert in her head. A word floated by, and she caught it, but it crunched back into dust. What now? Then, all of a sudden, a cool, cold breath tickled through the desert. "Little girl," breathed the devil, "let us join forces. You need me, and I need you." "What are your terms?" so asked the writer. "Your words will simmer, boil, and bubble. You'll capture time within your text. You'll write, as only I can, for 7 years, and then your soul is mine for all the rest." The writer smiled and shook his hand. So be it. The words came quickly then, like pebbles down a hill. Her paper? Done. Submitted, no corrections. The next? The same. Ad infinitum. She wrote new stories, captured moments, her nets now tight with no more holes. For 7 years she wrote, stitching words into ever stranger rhythms, twisting sounds into new shapes. She read them out, bewitching people, but also a cardinal outside her window, which started singing in her style. After 7 years had passed, the devil came to collect his dues. "Little girl," he breathed, more hoarsely, for the devil ages too, "the time has come, or rather yours is over." "Why, yes, I've been expecting you," so said the writer, "but let me tell you what I've achieved. Here, I've written it all down." The devil indulged her. He smiled a sneering smile and took a piece of inked-up paper from her hand. He started reading. The devil sunk into the story like a drowning man at sea. These words were wet but didn't quench him. They burnt his eyes, he couldn't see. She had done what she intended, broke time's rigid, cruel stride. Her story bent in and out of focus, looping backwards, side to side. There was no end and no beginning. The devil tried but couldn't pause. The writer trapped her foe, the devil, in her lithe linguistic claws.